Hello everyone, I'm Kim and welcome to my sewing room. Thank you for popping by and checking out what I've been up to in my sewing room this week. So to start with, I'm going to talk to you about the Marnie blouse. This blouse you saw on my sewing table last week. It was partially finished and now it's finished. I'm going to do a wee review on it. So I'm going to cover off things like why did I choose the size I did, also the instructions, the finished garment, on fabric choice, etc. So to start with, this is a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. This is my first Tilly and the Buttons pattern which I have sewn, and I bought this pattern, I would say it was on a whim, but I have seen this pattern do the rounds for a very long time. It's been around for quite a long time. The fact that it has all these beautiful tucks in the front and this ruffle around the neck, I really do like these design details. So I thought I would have a go because the pattern just popped up in my feed and I bought it. I traced it off, I trace all of my patterns off to start with and cut it out and started to sew it even before I had a chance to tell you about my pattern that I bought it. So I've been quite busy. I've been quite excited about this pattern and working on it, and Tilly hasn't disappointed at all. So when the pattern came in this lovely envelope. This envelope is really good quality. It's nice stiff cardboard. It's the pattern pieces are really good quality, really thick paper, and the booklet that came inside, yet again really good quality. The instructions are beautifully laid out, very precise, easy to understand with all the coloured images. So great start. So I was really pleased with that because I'm so used to working off of the big four patterns, and yeah, you really do get a quality pattern with Tilly, so I was quite impressed. So Tilly's sizing is different from what I'm used to when I work on the big four pattern. So she works her own sizing, which runs from 1 to 15. So a size 1, for instance, is a UK 6, a US 2, a European 34 or an Australian 6. It goes up to a size 15, which is UK 34, US 30, European 62, Australia 34. So why did I pick size 6? Now size 6 is a UK 16, a US 12, a European 44 and an Australian 16. So looking at the line drawing, so I'll put an image of the line drawing so you can see what I'm talking about. Looking at the line drawings, this pattern is very full. It's got lots of gathers, and the gathers actually fall just above the bust line. So I decided, instead of taking the measurement from my bust is a 43, I decided to take the measurement from my higher bust. So the higher bust is the measurement which comes from under your arm across the top of your bust and around. So I decided to use that measurement instead, because I felt that if I actually went by my actual bust size, I was going to end up with a very full-on blouse. And because I'm quite broad in the top and the back, I have narrow shoulders and big bust, I wanted to try and get the fit as close as I could, fitted quite well to the top half of my torso, because I felt that with all the gathers that fell from the yoke down, that would accommodate my bust, my waist and my hips. And I haven't been disappointed. I made the right decision. So the bust size for a size 6, for instance, was a 40. Now I have a 43-inch bust, but my higher bust is 39. So this bust size was a 40, a size 6. So I felt comfortable with that. So that's what I went with, and that's what I picked. So I traced off a size 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and show you the blouse and just talk through each element so that you can see whether you agree with the choice that I made. So first of all, you can see, let me come a bit closer, you can see the bodice bit here fits really well. I do have narrow shoulders, and I think they probably, size 6 are probably a little bit too narrow, but I'm quite happy with how they fall on my shoulders, because they're gathered and they still cascade down into the sleeves. Okay, there's no tightness around the top there at all. It has the ruffle inserted into the neck. It has these beautiful tucks which are on the yoke at the front, and they're also on the sleeve, and the sleeve has this section here which is gathered in, and then that cascades down into an elasticated cuff here. You can also see it's gathered also under the yoke here, and that all cascades down to make this really flowy top. So I just felt the gathers would accommodate my bust without actually going up to the bigger size, because I think if I had gone bigger, all of these gathers would just have overwhelmed me. So I was really pleased with that. So what would I do different next time? Now this blouse has fitted really well, but if I was being really fussy, it's nothing to do with the pattern, it's to do with my body shape. It's I would make an alteration to the neck. The neck itself feels that it's pulling in towards my neck, and I keep doing this thing where I'm pulling it down all the time. So what I would do is I would just make a small adjustment, because I'm happy with the shoulders and how they feel. So I've got the pattern here. So this is the front of the pattern. So the original neckline for a size 6 works out at 13.5 centimeters, and that also includes the seam allowance. I'm not worried about that at the moment. So that's the measurement, the original measurement, 13.5 centimeters from the top of the neck down into the middle of the neck. And I think just a very small adjustment, where I'm just going to take this slither of the pattern off here, will change that measurement from 13.5 to 14.5 centimeters. So all I'm effectively doing is just bringing the neckline down slightly, just to pull it away from my neck. So with my little paper scissors, I'm just going to cut that section out now. And generally when I make something, I like to make the alterations before it goes back into the envelope, so that when I come to make this again, everything's already done and I can just crack on with making the next one. So I've taken that out. So what I've also done is I've made this note on here, and I must admit I'd have to be blind if I didn't see that when I was making my second Marnie, is I need to also ensure that I increase the size of the binding. The binding sits inside the neckline here, and also increase the size of the ruffle by 2 centimeters each. So if I do that, the neckline will come together really, really well, and shouldn't see I shouldn't experience any problems with that small alteration. So that is the front. The other thing I would also change is the sleeve length. It's very, very hard to show sleeve length, but when I have my sleeve my arm down, the sleeve just feels a little bit short for me. I'm 5'7", and I do find that one of the main reasons why I started sewing originally was because I could never find clothes to fit me in the arms and the body, because I was just a little bit taller than the average woman. Everything was just short in the body and the arms. And I have found that with the sleeves, I'm also doing this thing where I'm pulling them down so that they fall on my wrist. So I have made a change also to the pattern piece. So there's a lower sleeve pattern piece, and all I've done is I've added an extra 2 inches. Now, when I make it up, if that 2 inches is too long, I can always make it smaller when I've made it up. But because these sleeves are already made up, I can't make them longer. See what I mean? So I've made those changes to my pattern, and that pattern will now go back in its envelope. And when I come to make this Marnie blouse again, everything is already adjusted, ready for me to sort of get going on. You would have seen this fabric before because it has been around a few times. I made my daughter some pajamas out of this fabric, and this fabric is from a company called Farics. It is a cotton lawn, so it's 100% cotton. It has a GSM of 85, so it's a nice thin cotton lawn, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love cotton lawn, and it's beautiful, and it works really well with this blouse. And I would definitely use cotton lawn again, but I'd also, if you decide to make this, just make sure that the cotton that you're using, if you decide to use cotton, is not too thick, because otherwise the sleeves would just be too puffy, unless that's what you want, and it would just be difficult to gather. But at the moment, it just feels great. I'm really, really pleased with this Marnie, and I am quite excited to make another one. So last of all, Marnie fabric suggestions. So she actually suggested that this be made up in cotton lawn, voile, poplin, Swiss dot, seersucker, double gauze or chambray. So I obviously made this in cotton lawn, so I behaved myself there and followed the instructions. It also on the packet said that it would take 2.5 meters, which is 2 3/4 yards, to make up the blouse, and I did use around about that. I have a little bit left, which I'm going to make a bucket hat out of, so that will finish up this fabric lovely. But that was 2.5 meters for sizes 1 to 6. So if I had gone up to the next size, 7, that would have been a jump from 2.5 meters to 3.2 meters, or 2 3/4 yards to 3.5 yards. So that's quite a big jump. Now, I didn't choose the size because of that. I choose the size because I didn't want all of these gathers to overwhelm me. So I was quite pleased that I did manage to get this blouse out of 2.5 meters just by following the pattern size for my upper bust rather than my full bust. But obviously you have to make the decision what you want to, the sizing you want to do, and make a 12. So for me, effectively, this was a working 12, and it has worked for me, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. So that is my Marnie blouse. Dare I say it, rabbits. We are nearly there. They are 99.9% nearly finished. And I'm just going to show you them, and because this will be the last time that you see them with me, because my client is actually going to receive them very shortly. So this one's finished. So it's got a beautiful, I just love them. They really make me smile when I see them. He's got his trousers on, beautiful ears, bottoms of his feet. They've all been made differently. So jacket, waistcoat, I should say waistcoat, lined, his little nose. He is still waiting a tail, so I'm going to put his tail on. And I've made these little pom-poms, and what I do is just to make them a little bit safer, to make sure that they don't fall to bits, I like to sort of glue them in the middle so that they're really secure. So I will do that and let them set, and then I'll sew them on. So here's the second one. Ears, waistcoat, pink trousers. He's actually got his little tail on, so he is finished. This one, I mean, don't they make you smile? Wouldn't you be happy if you had one of these? So, and the last one is him. Now I finished his shirt yesterday, and all I need to do is just sew a few shirt buttons on, and then all of his clothes are finished, and then he just needs a little tail as well. Now I did make 4 of them for my client, but I also made one for myself because as you know, Daisy, who sits on my shelf, I'll just get her down. Here is Daisy. She has been sitting on that shelf like forever, and she watches over me, and I absolutely adore her. She was the first cool crafting creature doll, I don't know what you call them actually. She was the first doll that I made, and I had great fun making her, and I have promised to make her a friend, and I made her a little rabbit. So this is a little rabbit I made for her, and I don't know what to call her because she's not Alfie, that's for sure. So we need to find a name for her. I have put her in a dress that belongs to Daisy because I haven't got around to making her some of the clothes that I intended to make for this rabbit, but I think I'm all rabbited out at the moment, and I will make some clothes for her later in the year because I'm sure, like you, we've all had enough of rabbits. So she is going to sit with Daisy, and they are going to keep each other company and natter away to each other. Also need to put a nose on her and also attach her tail. So if you can think of a really nice name for her that Daisy would like, then that, and also what she would like, I'll pick one from your comments, so that'll be lovely. So get your thinking caps on, and we'll get her named. We'll have a naming ceremony. Okay, so that's rabbits. Hopefully not too much discussion about rabbits going forward. Right, purchases. Now I haven't purchased a lot recently. I bought the Marnie blouse, obviously. I'm also a member of the Specky Seamstress label collective club, so she sends through some woven labels each month, and they have come through. Well, they came through a couple of days ago, so I'm sure everybody has shown their labels already, so I'm not spoiling the surprise. and one label says "You look fabulous in grey," followed by "You look fabulous in black." So they're just the front and nothing on the back. And then there's 3 of those, and then there's 4 of these little planet ones, which are nice and bright. I quite like those, and they're plain blue on the back. So that is from Specky Seamstress. And I was watching the Yorkshire Sew Girl, and she actually mentioned this lady who does the woven labels, and she's from a company called the Cosy Club Handmade on Etsy. So I went and had a look at her labels, and she's got some really lovely labels. So I just bought 2 sets, and one of them says oops, mistakes were made, and then on the other side it says solutions were found. So they're double-sided, and I got 6 of those. And the other set I bought were these beautiful bright coloured ones, handmade with love, and then on the back it says better than bought, which I thought was quite nice. So and they came in a pack of 8, so go and check her out. I'll put a link down below. Go and check her out, because she does have some really nice varied labels on her site. So as well as the labels, I bought some I don't even know what you call them actually, beads, what are they called, sew on rhinestones. Now I have been working on my Dior brooch for quite a while, and I was having difficulty finding a centerpiece for my Dior brooch, but I came across these. Excuse the rustling, I'm just going to open them up. I came across these on Amazon, and they're what I want, because I needed beads that were sew on. So they're all different sizes and shapes, so I can make up the centerpiece as I like. So you can see, you know, all the different sizes, and even some little tiny ones here, teeny weeny, which I can use as a filler in between the bigger ones. So now I've got these, I feel sort of inspired to finish my brooch off, because I've now got everything I need to get that finished. So that is still in progress, and hopefully you will see that soon. That's one of those little jobs that I do in the evening, because it's hand sewing. So before I finish, I just wanted to give you an update on things like my my summer cardigan that I was knitting. I had plans to finish, well, I had started working on it, and I had made the borders, and I decided, me trying to be clever, I had decided that what I wanted to do is I wanted to knit the whole thing on a circular needle, so I could do the front, back and the other front and just go back and forth. But I have found that by doing that, each time I come to the end of the row, I've either miscalculated a stitch, I've done something wrong and it's gone wrong, and I've unpicked a few times, and it's just not working on circular needles. So I'm going to have to go back and do it the old-fashioned way and knit up the front, both the fronts and the back, and then just sew them and have a seam. I didn't really want to have a seam, but nobody's going to see it. It's just me just being particular. So that's an update on the knitting, and hopefully I can do a bit of that. Though I will say, if it gets too warm, I generally drop the knitting in the evening, and I do hand sewing, and I don't have a hand sewing project in place at the moment, so I might pick up my Raindrops Are Falling on My Head quilt, because that's all EPP and hand sewing. So I might start on that again, because I have actually had some more tulip pink fabric in that has been used for the finishing of the last few diamonds for the Queen of Diamonds quilt. So I might look back on some of that fabric and use that in the Raindrops Are Falling on My Head quilt. And the other thing I only thought about doing literally half an hour before I started recording this video was a discussion that I had with my daughter. My daughter does embroidery and cross stitch, and she has these project bags, and she said they're really quite expensive, because she was working on this beautiful cross stitch, and I said to her, why don't you keep it in a project bag when you're finished? And she said, well, I've got a few project bags, but they are occupied with different projects, but this one isn't, because I haven't got one. And she said, and they're really quite expensive. So she showed me, and I thought, oh, they are quite expensive, aren't they? So I thought I'd make a few. So I pulled her up into my sewing room and asked her to pick out some fabric. So I have some fabric left over from when I was buying fabric for the cavalcade bag. So I have this. So I have some of this left. So this would make up a project bag. So I've got some of that left. So I will work on that through the week, and I'm just going to literally do it by just measuring out a rectangular shape, putting in a vinyl front with a zipper, and then binding it and see how it goes. And then I will show you next week to see how they look. But I also bought this fabric, and I bought quite a bit of this, but I never actually got around to using it. She really likes this. She's a real Harry Potter fan, and as you know, because I made her a Harry Potter cavalcade bag, so I have quite a bit of this left as well. So I will make her a project bag from this. And I have some bright yellow, this sunshine bumbleberries fabric that I bought to go with this. I think would make quite nice binding for both of them actually. So watch this space. I will see how I get on through the week making these. I'm hoping they're going to be quick makes, but time will tell. So I think that is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the content, and I hope you get time this week to spend a little bit of time sewing for yourself, and I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.